Hello guys and welcome to Euro Truck Simulator 2. I am Trucker Andy and today I want to talk to you a little about the trucking lifestyle, how it works around family life and the company I work for. So, where do we start? Let's first hit on how I got into truck driving and a bit about where I started. Also, we are going from Newcastle in the brand new generation Scania, as you can see. We're going to be taking this low bed with a digger and a generator on. And the reason for this is I want to show people at work a bit about my YouTubing and the people on YouTube a little bit about my work and what other game better to do this than Euro Truck Simulator. So, where did I start? What made me get into truck driving? And what do I suggest people do with regards to getting a bit involved? Need to straighten up a little bit here. There we go. Let's hope I try it up. So, where did I come from? How did I get into it? Trucking is in my blood. It is huge. It is a part of my life, and it always has been. I will always have a nice spot for trucking in my life. It was always my dream as a child, and it was always something I knew I would end up doing, whether it was truck driving or delivering or something along the lines of I would be doing the trucking. It's something I enjoy, I've always enjoyed, and I will always enjoy in the future. I'm trying to mess with the audio a little bit here. So what I'm going to do is I started back 10 years ago. I got into driving. I was a van driver. I did parcel delivery. I won't specifically say the company I work for because I don't want to plug too many of the bigger businesses in this. And I did parcel delivery, I did door to door, and I did the kind of stuff when you buy online and you send off to a company and they go door to door and you sign an e-pod and blah blah blah. I think you can pretty much gather the companies I'm talking about. Now, during this time, I got hooked up with a company, a training company, and there was a guy called Darren Parker and a guy called Chris Maynard. Now, both of these guys did a lot during my early years to basically get me pushed through the company I was working for, and I have a lot to owe for these guys. So, I started an apprenticeship, and I worked my way up over a 6 to 12 month period. I can't remember the exact dates. And then I took my Class 2 driving licence. Now, from the Class 2, I did this for a while. I did some local stuff. I did a little bit of distance here and there. I wasn't really that much in the truck. And then one day there was an opportunity by passing chance. There was someone had missed up on a booking for a HGV Class 1, and they needed someone to fill the space to make it monetary worth it. Now, they just said, well, Andy wants it, let's throw him in. So there you go. I said yes, I jumped in. I went and did my Class 1, and I was so happy. It was like a dream had come true overnight, and everything I'd ever wanted was there. It was very emotional. I was so happy. It was something that I never thought I'd be afford to be able to do. So I did that, and then about a year later I was given the keys to that transport yard. Whoa. Okay, let's go back over. I was given the keys to that transport yard, and I used to manage 30 apprentices over a 3-month basis, and then 3 months later I'd have a new set of apprentices, and they used to drive the vans. We had some truck drivers who were on apprenticeship, and we'd basically take them through logistics training, industry training, give them English and literacy skills, and it was a big major part of my life, and I really did enjoy this part of my life. And then after a while, for whatever reason, obviously details doesn't matter, but I left the company by my own choice, and I went on to doing a bit of tipper work for an agency, and then I did some brick work for many years, and then from there it was pottering about really. I did a few bits here and there for another agency. I went to work in a warehouse, in a factory, and then I decided one day that I couldn't do it. I needed to be a driver, so I had a year out, and then I was like, no, I'm going back. Dive straight back in the truck, and I went to work for a huge multinational company. Again, I'm not going to jump on the name of that one too much, which I really enjoyed, but it just, you're a number, and I'll go into this a bit later, but with the big multinational companies you do feel a little bit of a number. And this isn't something, anyone who knows me, I will talk to anyone. I get on with most people. I don't judge anybody. I love talking. I love having conversations. So for me, it was very easy to be in a small company or a big company, but I just prefer to be known as me, not as a number. And then from this, I then went on to do. I worked for a UK-wide huge bakery, delivering bread across the whole of the UK, which was good. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to say I didn't. It was good. The equipment wasn't the newest, but it was a good company to work for. But that leads me to now. I work for a company called Transervice, based out of West Bromwich, and I know this is going to sound very cliche, but it is one of the best places I've ever worked. Now, there's many reasons for this, and the main one being is with a small to medium company. I don't want to put the company down as a small company, because it's not, and it's not a large company. It's somewhere in that scope of things, and basically they do general haulage, and they do other bits and bobs of long haul here and there. And it was the first time I'd really dabbled into full-time general haulage. I'd done, like I say, bits with an agency, and I'm so happy here. It's quite unbelievable, really, because if you talk to any truck driver, they'll say, general haulage? Why are you doing general haulage? It is bad paid, it's hard work, it's boring. It's really not. General haulage is very challenging, and this is where I think a lot of truck drivers don't enjoy it, because you have many drop-offs, you have pickups to do, and when you say to people, oh, I do general haulage, and then you go, I do it in a class 1 articulated truck, they're like, what? You're doing what? But I enjoy it. I really have enjoyed it for the time I've been here, and I'm now on a new side of the company where I'm doing hub runs. Now, the hub runs are basically, our company is part of a greater network of companies, which I'm actually going to plug here, the Pallet Network, which I'll explain that eventually. But the Pallet Network is I like to think of it as a consortium where companies from all over the UK bring pallets to one central based hub, and then that hub retranships the pallets to the customers. This saves money for the hauliers, it saves money for the customer, and it's, as a business model, it works. Everyone works together, everyone gels, and every night tens of thousands of pallets go through the Pallet Network, and it really is a working entity. Now, for me, I didn't get the whole concept at first when I got into it. Like I say, I'm not from a general haulage background, and I'm not from a local delivery background. I am a long hauler. I am a night out guy. I've earned my stripes, I'll put it that way. So getting into it, I was a bit confused by it all, and a bit like, is this for me? But I really enjoy it. Taking in the pallets at night, you get in, you're treated as a person, not a number. Everything you do matters. Whereas with a bigger company, you're just a driver, you're just a butt on a seat, to be precise. With the smaller to medium companies that are working for a larger consortium company, you have a name, you are a person, you have input. Now, this isn't for everybody, I know. The input comes with trust and with hard work. I've been with the company, I'm coming up towards my first year, and I really am proud to say that I've been here, and I'm happy where I am. I have a really nice truck. It is a 2009, and I know there are people out there going, oh, you can get much better, but this is from experience. There are very few jobs in this industry where you get both sides of it. You either end up with a nice truck and a low wage, or a higher wage and either a bad truck. And then you get your middle jobs where you get a decent truck, a decent wage, in the middle ground, and that's where I am, and I'm really happy about where I am. I've got my own Scania. Obviously, I'm a Scania man. Everyone knows I'm a Scania man. So I've got my own Scania. I have a 440, which is more than enough for what we do. I do double decker work. I need to get out the fast lane. I do double decker work in between the hub and back every night, and I really enjoy it. As I said, you're treated as a person, not as a number. Now, the industry itself, this is the main thing I wanted to touch on this video. Do I suggest getting into it as a truck driver and taking it on as a full-time career? Now, straight away, as a truck driver, I say yes. Get in, go get in the truck and go for it. But there's parts of me which says no. And the bits that say no is because people don't research this industry before they get into it, and they think it's 9 to 5, easy peasy, drive here, drop that off and come back. And there is so much more to this industry than that, and this industry supports every other industry in the world, and I mean the world, because no industry in the world can move without trucks. You can't build houses without trucks, you can't move raw materials, you can't move hospital equipment, food. Without trucks, it's impossible to move the scale of produce, export, import that the UK can handle through a year without trucks. You just couldn't do it. It's impossible. So, before you get into this industry, I do suggest that you think about what you want to do. Think about where you want to end up once you are a truck driver, and this is a big point. And try everything if you get the chance to. So, firstly, I would say, do you want to do Class 1 or Class 2? Class 2 being one rigid vehicle, no trailer. Class 1 being tractor and trailer. And do you want to do nights out or do you want to do days? Now, please, for the Lord, I can't stress how much this annoys me. People get into the industry and go, oh, I can do nights out. Me and my partner, we understand it. The nights out are all a part of being a truck driver, and my partner is cool with it. I can do nights out all day, all week, not a problem. Well, no. This is the hardest thing about being a truck driver. If you want to do nights out, you need an absolute rock of a relationship, a family. For a single person, it's not a problem, but it puts a lot of strain on a family. I've been there, I've done it, I know this, I've seen it, I've seen time and time again people get into the industry and walk away because their family can't hack it. Because you are hundreds of miles away, you can't just zip home in an emergency. Every decision you made is made on the road at short notice without you. That's the hardest part, being away from your family, especially when I was in it. My little girl's grown up, and being away from her is a very, very hard thing for me to do. And I knew that, and I knew I had to do what I had to do to earn money. So before you get into driving, make sure you know what you want. Now, the good side of it is, once you are a truck driver, as long as you abide by the laws, and there are some laws that you have to abide by, you have a job for life. Like I said, every industry in the UK requires truck drivers, truck companies, hauliers, everyone who wants to get involved, because without us, there is no UK, there is no industry, there is no export, import, no goods delivered anywhere. You get your own truck, you can listen to music, you can stop and have a coffee whenever you want, as long as you get deliveries done on time. You have a lot of free roam. Bad points: long hours, yes. You should be prepared for that if you're going to be a truck driver anyway, because there's always going to be long hours. If you get caught in traffic jams, you could be sat there for 2-3 hours. You could do a 15-hour shift, which illegally you can do. I won't get into drives hours because it's too much to really look into. But the worst point about being a truck driver is, if you make a mistake in an office, it's resend the email, or if you work in a caterer's, recook the food. If you make a mistake in a truck, it's going one of two ways. Either you're going to prison or you're going to get a very, very big fine, points on your license, or someone's going to get really, really hurt. And that is the only thing that you take on as a big risk with the job. But if you stick to the rules, generally you shouldn't really get into that kind of position. But I'm just letting you know it's out there. So for new people getting into the industry, where do you start? What do you do? Now, my advice is, before you see anybody, go and get your medical done. This is very easy. It's a form. There's you can look online. You can find out who the doctors are who can do your medical. And once you've got your medical, you can send off for your license category, your provisional. Then find a decent local company with a good reputation. There are too many people involved in it now, and you do need to find someone with a good reputation and a high pass rate, because obviously you don't want to pay upwards of thousands of pounds for someone to teach you wrong or not give you all the information that you need to take on for the rest of your career, because you are taught to pass a test, you're not taught to drive. And it's hard for me to explain. When you do your test, you're taught to pass at a standard. You don't learn to drive. Hold on, we've got a bit of a situation up here with the police. No, I'm good. You don't learn to drive until you're in the truck on your own, and you make mistakes, and you realise you haven't strapped the pallet as much as you thought you had, or you didn't shut your curtains, or you forgot your airlines, or I've seen it happen. People have dropped trailers because they forgot to put their legs down. But it's all part of learning to be a truck driver. So once you found your decent training company, stick with them, go out, pass your test, and then I would suggest, and this is different to most people, go and sign up to an agency. Do 6 weeks of different work. This way you get to find something you enjoy without ruining your career and your work history, because you don't want to go somewhere and go, I did 3 weeks here and I did 6 months here, but they sacked me because of this, and I left here because of this. You need to find what you like doing, because there's so much different truck driving work. It's insane, absolutely insane, between food and frozen and non-frozen, chilled goods, car delivery, fuel delivery. There's lots of options. So go out, have a look, find out what you want to do. I would never have suggested this before now. Find, if you're into it, a good general haulier. I can't believe I'm saying it, because when I joined up, this was the one thing everyone told me to avoid, was general haulage. And it's not that bad. It's really not. There are ups and downs with it, and there's the long days and the short days, but it's all part of the whole truck driving thing anyway. So, to summarise, I work for Transervice. We do Pallet Network, which for me works. It works for my family. I've spent many years researching on what job I want to end up in. And most people know that I want to end up... what's that fence there? No, we're good. Most people know I want to end up in the office, and that is what I'm trying to do with my career path now. I want to get experience on the road. I know I have 10 years as such behind me, but I want to get 20 years behind me and then walk into an office, because I don't believe in transport managers that haven't ever been on the road, because they don't understand the struggle. They don't understand when you've had that long day, the last thing you need is a transport manager down your throat, or the transport manager saying, oh, you can get from here to London in 2.5 hours, because anyone with a brain knows that with the truck doing 56 miles an hour down to London, is not going to get there in 2.5 hours. And I've actually seen planners use Google Maps and go, you can get there in 3 hours, and you're like, well, no, I can't. Nowhere near, it's impossible. So that is the hardest thing for a driver, dealing with transport planners and transport managers, because it's a male dominated industry, which is changing. I'm not going to say it is only male. There are a lot of female drivers out there, but it is a male dominated industry. And when you talk about putting 60 or 70 males into one company and getting them all to get along is a very hard thing to do. As you'll see in most companies, there's 1 or 2 people who are indifferent. But all in all, like I said, set yourself up in what you want to do and make a plan. There's so many options in the logistics industry, it is unbelievable. Like I said, for me, I want to end up as a transport manager. I always have done. My dream is to own my own company. I've done my own company before, but I want to own a full-time haulier at some point before I retire. Whether it happens, doesn't matter. I'm doing the job I love doing. I was born and raised around trucks, and I love trucks, and it's something that will never ever change in me. So, those who want to get into the industry, go and do it, but do it right. Don't just jump in and go for any old job. Find what you enjoy. For people who are in the industry now, who are slating the industry, stop. You're ruining one of the greatest industries in the UK, because there are a lot of people now, and not just the old timers, some of the new timers who are always moaning. Don't be a truck driver if you're not ready for it. It is a mentally draining, physically draining job, where every day there is pressure, and that is part of it. Because, like I say, every industry requires us, and make sure you have a family that can stably take on what you're about to take on, because it is very hard. I know when I first got into the industry and I was away a lot, it was very hard on a relationship. I've been with my wife 14 years, and it was very, very hard for us when I started. I was always away. I was never at home. We've been through all sorts over the years. But we are a very strong-headed couple, and we understand that work comes first. Obviously, now we're parents as well, thanks to the miracle of IVF. But we won't get into that today. Ooh, what's going on here? But yes, so there you go, guys. That's pretty much everything I wanted to touch on. find a decent company, find out what you want to do, research the industry, find a decent trainer. If you can't find a decent trainer, get in touch with me. I'll help you find a decent trainer. I know the industry, I know people, I have friends that I've built up over many years. And don't work as such for these high companies who go, we have brand new trucks and we have this and everything, because you will find they are the places where you will be unhappy unless you manage to find the 1 or 2 gems that there are in the UK. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope people in the YouTube community now can see a bit more about my trucking life. And for those who have made it this far into the video from work or from TPN, for instance, because I'm hoping you guys will tune in and have a look at this video. YouTubing is something I've done for a while, and not a lot of people don't get it. I enjoy gaming. I've been a gamer since I was about 7 years old. I started on a very old system, which if you watch my other videos you'll see me talk about. But I enjoy YouTubing, and I managed to fit it in around my truck driving, around my family, around my hobbies. I have many hobbies, so it's nice for you guys to get in and see what I do at home as well. Obviously it's not for everybody. Gaming, some people are like, oh, what's the point? Why are you driving a truck at home on a game when you can be driving a truck at home at work? But it's just something I enjoy. I'll always enjoy it. I enjoy all sorts of gaming. So like I said, guys, I've got to thank you very much for watching the video and really getting involved and leaving your likes and your comments. All the subscribes and notifications I've got, they really mean a lot to me. As we approach the end of our delivery, I'll park up and show you guys that I do know what I'm talking about, hopefully. And red light. Oh, I'm alright. But it's just a chance for you guys to get to see like what I do in both sides of my life as a truck driver and obviously as a YouTuber, as a family man. Just wait for this light change and we'll do the park up and we'll end the video. And here we go. And for the truck drivers out there who are watching this going, oh, this game cannot be all it's cracked up to be, trust me, I've driven most trucks in the UK. I've got to demo some of the brand new trucks, and the detail of these trucks are insanely on point, very on point. This year alone I've test drove the new Volvo, the new Scania, the new Merc, the new Iveco. I'm desperately trying to get into the new Renault because of many reasons. Again, I've got to thank Renault. That's a good point. Thank you, Renault, for the invitation to Truckfest, for the opportunity to go around your new vehicle. I wish I'd have had a chance to drive it. Didn't get to chance on the day, but I'm sure we can work something out. Thank you to the person who gave me the tickets for Truckfest from Renault. He understands that. I really appreciated that. And thank you to everyone who are around me at work, around me in my YouTube, my family, who support me in both my career and in my YouTube. Obviously both of these mean a lot to me. So it's nice that I can bring both these two things together with this video and show everyone, like I say, at work, what I get to at home, everyone at home, a bit about my work and who I work for. And obviously I've just brought it all into one video for you guys and give a bit of advice to anyone who wants to join the industry. So that's a little loud. I'm going to say thank you very much, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification button to keep up with what I do on my channel and where I'm going in my life. I'm going to start doing a video log in my truck so you guys can see more day to day. Thank you for Transservice and TPN for allowing me to do what I do on social media and with my work, and thank you to everyone else. I will see you all in the next video, guys. Take it easy.